I don't believe it.
Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome to Watch Mojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things we could see in the MCU's multiverse.
Guess this is it.
Well, nice to know we're not alone.
See, Flash, being the fastest isn't always the best if you are wrong.
Where is this going?
For this list, we're looking at the weirdest and wildest things that may make it into Marvel's movie multiverse based on what we've seen in the comics and what we know about the business. What else may be lurking in the endless depths of Marvel's many worlds? Let us know which worlds you want to see in the comments. All right, let's get to it. Number 10, the DC Universe. Hear us out. It might seem like the last possible thing you should expect to see in a Marvel movie is a reference to characters owned by their bitter rivals.
Do you mind if I ask you?
As a matter of fact, I do.
But consider this. Marvel and DC have a long history of crossovers going as far back as the Superman vs. the Amazing Spider-Man one-shot in the 1970s. Even during the most tense, lawsuit-ridden times in their rivalry, artists and writers for both companies have been sneaking references to each other into their comics for decades.
Flash, I need your car on your phone.
Sir, technically this is my dad's car, sir, so I can't...
That doesn't mean we're gonna see Wonder Woman shaking hands with Captain America, but keep your eyes peeled because a quick reference to the Justice League being out in the multiverse somewhere is a real possibility.
Every existence multiplied by possibility. And spread out before space and time in infinite measure.
Number 9. Marvel Apes. You've heard of the Planet of the Apes, but what about a whole universe of them?
Are there more like you?
Apes have been a weirdly huge part of comics ever since the rumor started that DC Comics got a bump in sales every time they put a gorilla on the cover. Maybe that's why Marvel created a universe where all their biggest characters were apes, from Spider-Monkey right on down to Iron Mandrill and the Ape Vengers. We don't even need to make up jokes for this entry, those are the characters' real names. But maybe the weirdest part is that it's shockingly well written. Rather than relying solely on punny names and banana jokes, it tells a complicated story of dominance and brutality for a disturbingly believable take on the Marvel heroes as apes. Number 8. Classic versions of the characters. From the 1960s Spider-Man cartoon to the 70s Incredible Hulk, Marvel characters have been adapted into all kinds of media over the years. Some of them are great. Others, like the 90s Captain America movie, not so much.
Holy mackerel.
We already got a little taste of what this might look like in the Spider-Verse movie, but Marvel's love for referencing their history runs even deeper and weirder than that.
This could literally not get any weirder.
It can get weirder. I just washed my hands, that's why they're wet. No other reason.
For one example, the Spider-Verse comics featured a version of the webhead from a 1970s Japanese TV show, Spider-Man, and his giant robot. We don't know if the cinema-going public is ready for that level of weirdness yet. We're just saying the filmmakers have a lot of material to pull from.
Is he allowed to say that?
Number 7. Actor cameos. If there's one thing that ties Marvel movies together, it's the cameos. Well, one specific cameo for the most part. Don't pretend you don't know who we're talking about.
Hey, gee, I've got so many more stories to tell. Guys, gee.
But now that Stan Lee has sadly passed away, it may be time to cast a wider net for their cameos. If we're bringing back previous versions of the characters, why not bring back the actors who played them? In fact, there are already rumors that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire show up in Spider-Man No Way Home in what may be a Spider-Verse-style scenario.
Are you from another dimension? Like a parallel universe where things are like this universe but different? And you're Spider-Man in that universe, but somehow traveled to this universe, but you don't know how?
Wow, that was really just a guess?
Well, either way, bringing back former actors may be a way to make all previous Marvel movies canon in the multiverse. Although, hopefully not all of them. Number 6. The Noir Universe. Remember that black and white Spider-Man in the trench coat from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
In my universe, it's 1933, and I'm a private eye. I like to drink egg creams, and I like to fight Nazis. A lot.
Turns out he comes from a whole film noir universe where it's still the 1930s. It features reinterpretations of all kinds of Marvel characters, such as Spider-Man as a hard-boiled detective like the Shadow, to Iron Man as a globe-trotting adventurer like Indiana Jones in a suit of armor. The Noir Universe, named for the gritty detective genre of film noir, is packed with texture, excitement, and darker takes on classic Marvel moments. Nothing against Spider-Verse, but there's a lot more to discover on a visit to the Noir Universe than a goofy background character voiced by Nicolas Cage.
This is purple.
No.
Blue?
No.
Number 5. The X-Men. It's no secret that ever since Disney bought Fox, the rights for the X-Men are back in the hands of the people making the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Magnificent.
Now, the question is less about whether the mutants will show up in an MCU movie, and more about how the writers will do it. Will they say mutants have suddenly appeared in the world? Were Wolverine and Professor X locked away this whole time?
You know, I think I do remember you now. Yeah. Tall, angry fella with contentious hair. We came to you a long time ago seeking your help.
Have mutants just been around all along and everyone was too busy fighting a purple spaceman and his jewelry collection to say anything? Believe it or not, only some of those answers are stupid. But one other way to do it might be to simply introduce them in the universe next door.
Charles, we need you to hope again.
Number 4. Star Wars. Speaking of things Disney owns, listen, we're not saying Disney should film a crossover between Marvel and Star Wars.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker.
But you are not a Jedi yet.
It would be terrible for both franchises, and it would probably crash the world economy when it somehow makes more money than there is on Earth at the box office. But yes, in an infinite number of universes, one of them must contain the Millennium Falcon.
What a piece of junk!
She'll make 0.5 past light speed. She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid.
And since Kevin Feige, the chief creative officer of Marvel Entertainment, is known to be working on an as-yet unannounced Star Wars project, it wouldn't be surprising to see at least a little hint of that somewhere in Marvel's multiverse.
Come, little one.
Number 3. Marvel Zombies. In the early days of Marvel Comics' rise to the top of the comic book industry, a Marvel zombie was a joking name for someone who bought every comic Marvel... Wait, what? We're talking about actual zombies? Yep, that's right. In a comic series that is absolutely not for the faint of heart, Marvel took that old comic nerd joke and made it literal with a universe full of flesh-eating monsters who used to be your childhood heroes. There's even a hint that this prediction might come true in the trailer for the upcoming Marvel What If animated series, with what is unmistakably an undead Captain America. Although, that might still be part of a different, less apocalyptic story. Number 2. Marvel 1602. In the year 1602, Queen Elizabeth was on the English throne, the first European settlers were making their homes in North America, and the colony's first printing press was run by Spider-Man? Okay, it might not be totally accurate from a historical standpoint, but in Marvel's 1602 universe, the incomparable Neil Gaiman constructs an alternate world where the Marvel heroes arrive on the scene almost 500 years before the versions we know. Nick Fury and Doctor Strange are advisors to the British Crown, the X-Men are hunted as witches, and the Hulk fights a bunch of dinosaurs for some reason. It's weird, wild, and full of mind-bending meditations on the nature of narrative fiction. And it would be an awesome world to visit in the Marvel Multiverse. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Squadron Supreme. Remember way back in entry number 10 when we said that Marvel has a history of doing sneaky crossovers with DC? Well, if you're a Justice League fan, the Squadron Supreme might look suspiciously familiar. Once you get a look at Hyperion, Power Princess, Dark Hawk, and some of their compatriots, you might start to ask how Marvel is getting away with it. But that's the point. The Squadron was created so Marvel could take a shot at its competitors' biggest characters without getting sued. Would it be a dirty trick to turn them into a movie franchise after copying them like that? Probably, but there are rumors that Marvel might be developing one, making it the biggest possible dunk on DC's own struggling movies. Okay, I know there's a lot to unpack here, but seriously, what are you most excited about potentially seeing in the MCU? And which do you think is most likely to happen? X-Men. Anyway, Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments, or come talk to me on Twitter or Instagram at Rebecca Brayton, or on my YouTube channel. See ya!